and welcome to a video that I feel like gets requested of me all the time, which, you know, with good purpose. I mean, I test out a lot of foundations. I sure do. I usually test out a new foundation every single week, do it on video for you guys and let you know my experience, so it can definitely be easy for things to all like bleed together and that sort of a thing, especially since, you know, since I am always testing out new foundations, it's hard for me to go back and say like, okay, this one's my favorite, because I haven't had a chance to reuse it, even though I really loved it that one week that I was testing it. You get what I'm saying? So this video is going to be for you guys who want to know what my bestest, favoritist foundations are. Now granted, this is not all of them, but these are the ones from 2019, this past year, that I tested out and I keep going back to. When I am not testing out a foundation, these are the ones that I go to that I want to wear. And also I figured it would be a good idea to throw in concealers, since a lot of you ask me about concealers as well. I feel like y'all already know this about me, but I have very oily skin, so that is something to keep in mind. What I look for in foundation and concealer are things that mostly, you know, look natural-ish for a foundation. They fade gracefully and or end up looking better as time goes on. You know, with my oils coming through, it helps the foundation to look nice. I also want it to be lightweight and mostly transfer proof. I mean, I know I can't expect it to be like glue on my skin and look exactly the same way at the end of the night as it does in the beginning, but you know, even if it does transfer the slightest bit, I don't want that to be noticeable on my face. I don't want to have to be nervous about giving someone a hug, since I am so short. You know, most hugs, I'm getting hugged into a person's chest. My face is getting on their shirt. I don't want my face to get left behind after a hug. You get what I'm saying? So I think those are the main things that I look for in a foundation and concealer, and I'm excited to share my top 10 with you all. I've got 5 concealers, 5 foundations, and oh, you guys, I don't feel like I ever need another foundation or concealer to be released again. I mean, maybe, like, if all of these could be combined into one magical, mystical creature, great. But I would be okay in the future if no new foundations existed. These ones, I'm pretty good to go. But I'm going to start out with concealers, because that's what I do first in my routine of getting my face on. And the first concealer that I want to recommend, I feel kind of bad because this technically isn't a concealer. It's a corrector, but I use it as a concealer. A lot of people, you know, will use concealer under their eyes, and that's fine, but to me, I just have so many fine lines underneath my eyes that a lot of the time, it's just concealer doesn't work underneath there, so I just don't do it. I just use my foundation. But under my foundation, I find it really helpful to use a corrector as a concealer. Kind of. And the one that I love the most is this one from Kaja. This is the Kaja Catnap Concealer. Excuse me, the Catnap Under Eye Brightener. It is $19. You can get this at Sephora. It just comes in the one shade. It's just a peach brightener corrector shade. 0.19 ounces of product in here, and I just love this stuff, you guys. It is super lightweight. I don't have problems with it settling into those fine lines underneath my eyes. It helps to correct my under eye circles and my under eye bags. I mean, it's not like completely transformative or anything, but I do think it helps. I can tell a difference between the days when I do use this and when I don't. And it's just such an easy step to just tap, 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 tap that out and then be done with it, that there's really no reason for me to not use this stuff. So I really love it. I would highly recommend it to anybody who has, you know, mild under eye discoloration. Like I said, this isn't gonna cure or get rid of really dark under eye bags. At least I don't think so, because it is a bit sheer, but it does look very natural. You can't tell that you're wearing it, and like I said, I would highly recommend it. And next up for concealers, these aren't really going in any particular order in terms of like, oh, I like this one better or not. Like, these are all really good, and I pretty much use them all for the same reasons. So like, I don't know that I can say which is the best of the best, but either way, one of my favorite concealers ever, no doubt in my mind, is this one from Too Faced. This is the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer Super Coverage. This stuff is phenomenal, my friends. Too Faced did send this to me when this first launched, and I'm a little scared, at least looking on Sephora's website. A lot of these are sold out, and I really hope that means they're not getting rid of this concealer, because I might actually cry. Like, I would be very, very sad, especially because I want a different shade of this. The shade that I kept, I don't know that this ever really matched me. This is the shade Vanilla. It's too dark for me. And I've been meaning to like stop in a Sephora or something and purchase a lighter shade of this, but even though it is too dark for me, it still works. It's not too dark where it's noticeable, at least I don't think so, but this is definitely a super coverage concealer. Like, if you want something that's lightweight, creamy, blendable, all that good stuff, look no further. Just kidding, there's another one of these concealers in my list, maybe two. Either way, you have a few options. So find the one where you can find a shade that matches you best, but I love this stuff. You can use this to conceal, contour, highlight, retouch, etc. Like I said, this stuff is just, it's so heavy duty. If I have a really, really bad breakout that I'm trying to cover, this is usually the one that I will go to, especially during the summer, because like I said, it'll match me a little bit better. But overall, I love the packaging on this. I love it's nice and big and chunky. The wand is great. Like, I have no complaints except for the fact that I chose the wrong shade, and that's just completely my fault. Did I say this is 29 bucks? And sorry, my friends, my memory card just filled up, so if it shifted, I apologize, the camera. But yeah, as I was saying, I think 29 bucks for half of an ounce of product. Like, this stuff is phenomenal. It's just, it's really, really good. And one of the other concealers that I was talking about, that when I said look no further, but then I was like, wait, you could actually definitely look further. This one I have kind of recently discovered, this Benefit Boeing Cakeless Concealer. I was certainly skeptical of this stuff purely because it was getting so much hype from the PR when it first launched. So I just wasn't sure, you know, if the hype was because of that and because it's in really cute packaging. I mean, come on now, that is adorable. A little pencil, like we're gonna erase our blemish, like, ugh, just, I was about to say kill me, but I really don't want to die. I want to live further days so I can continue using this concealer. It's just really, really good. I use the shade number 2. This one you get 0.17 fluid ounces, and this is $22. Technically much more expensive per ounce compared to the Too Faced. It looks like there are 12 different shades that you can choose from with this concealer, but this number 2 matches me very, very well. This one, as I said, is very similar to the Too Faced. I would say it's a little bit thicker than the Too Faced. The Too Faced is a little bit more on the watery side. It's not watery at all, but this one is definitely thicker, but I don't find that it's cakey. Sure, if you really layer this on, I mean, if you tried using this as foundation or something, I could definitely see this getting cakey, but it's not meant to be used as a foundation. So use this as a concealer and you should be fine. Even though it is thicker, it does blend out very well. It is super lightweight, and once you do blend it, it's very thin feeling, almost silicone-y, but either way, I love it. It lasts all day on me. It is heavy duty, really, really covers blemishes, any kind that I want. Did I say this? I don't use these concealers under my eyes, just the Kaja Catnap, so I don't recommend these for underneath the eyes, at least if you have really fine lines like I do. It's not going to be good for you, but on blemishes and stuff, this is wonderful. It's magic. It's delightful. I adore it. And just getting to use the cute packaging. I know packaging shouldn't matter, but it does. Like, this is adorable, and it just makes me really happy going and using this day to day. Then the other concealer that kind of falls into that same category of the Too Faced and Benefit in terms of just how it performs and how it feels and everything, another very similar one is this ColourPop concealer. This is the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Creamy Concealer. This is typically $9 as of filming this, and you guys are going to be seeing this just a couple days after me filming, so maybe it'll still be on sale, but it's on sale right now. Normally $9. It's $6.75, plus you can use Rakuten. Not sponsored, but you can and get 3% cash back on this. I always have my link down below But yeah, this is a concealer and it is an absolute freaking delight, especially if you typically have a hard time finding your shade in concealers because you have an olive undertone to your skin. I showed when I first tested out this concealer with the foundation and everything, I showed the full set of these because ColourPop did send them my way. But I find, or when I look at this, the pictures online I feel don't show it as well, but these do, many of these concealers in this range have a green tint to them, that olive undertone. So if you want that, I would say check out this concealer first, but it has that same kind of like cushiony, and I say cushion in the sense that it's not a liquid concealer, but it's not like a thick pasty concealer. It's right in the middle. It's a nice cushiony feel and it's very blendable. It is just wonderful. Like if you need really full coverage, this one will do it for you. Lasts all day. I use the shade Light 40N and it is a great shade match for me, I think. Oil-free, got hyaluronic acid and other good things, or things that are supposed to be good for your skin in here. It's just overall really, really good. And for the price, I mean, really, I don't know that this can be beat. And last but not least here, one of my other favorite concealers and one that is a bit different from the previous three. I have got this one from Milk Makeup. This is their Flex Concealer. It is 28 bucks for 0.2 fluid ounces of product. I use the shade, good question, Fair. And it's a great shade match for me. This one is great for me if I want to do touch-ups throughout the day. Not that it necessarily fades more or anything, but if I'm just like doing something really, it gets me sweaty or whatever else, you know, everything on my face is starting to fade. If I need to recover something, this is the one that I'll go for, mainly because it's a really good shade match for me, but also because it is so natural. Like out of all of these, this one is the one that I would use if I was just using concealer and not using any foundation that day. This one just melts into the skin, but still gives that good, nice coverage. I was about to say full, but I wouldn't say this is a full coverage concealer, but pretty darn close. I love the tube of this. I love the applicator. Like, I mean, it's a doe foot, but like, it just, I like how long it is. I don't know. Long and tiny. It makes me feel like I can get nice and precise with it. It looks like there are 16 different shades that you can choose from, and it just overall really, really good concealer. Like if I could only pick a couple of these concealers to use for the rest of my life, I would probably pick these two plus the Kaja, but a lot of that just has to do with the fact that these match me the best in terms of shade, and also just this one, cost effectiveness. I like the color of the cap. Like, I mean, honestly, I love all of these concealers, but that is that. These are the ones that I really bounce back and forth between on a daily basis. You know, which concealer am I going to use today? And each one of them certainly has its purpose, but I love them all so much. They're so good. But now, the reason why most of you probably came to this video, the foundations. I have got my Sailor Moon notebook here. We're gonna fight evil on our faces with these foundations, and I have got the best of the best out of these 2019 foundation testings. I have got my 5 favorites tabbed here. I have been re-evaluating them, retesting them the past couple of weeks, and so I've really got not only, you know, if you watch the first impressions video / weekly wear video, you'll get that first week of testing, first impressions, but now you're also getting like my final good impressions. Like, I know these foundations. These foundations have become my friends, and I would like to tell you about them. First up, a delightful find that I am still kind of shocked at the price of this. Like, if you would have told me one of my favorite foundations of the year was gonna come from the Dollar General, I would probably laugh and say, that's great. Happy days. This is $5. This is the Believe Beauty Skin Finish Foundation. As I said, this is from the Dollar General. I have the shade Porcelain. I will say that first off, the shade range is not good on this foundation. There are 12 shades, at least 8 of which are kind of all the exact same shade with slight variances, and the fact that I'm using, I think this is the lightest shade, that's not good because there are plenty of people that are paler than me out there. However, this is a good foundation. It is not my favorite foundation in the world, that's for sure, but if I just need a foundation to last me like 4 to 6 hours and look good while doing so, for the price point, this one is fantastic. You know, like some of my more expensive foundations and stuff, I feel guilty using it on a day where maybe I'm just filming for a couple hours or something and then I'm wiping it right off. But this one, I don't have to feel guilty about using it because it was only $5. I also like that it doesn't oxidize on me, so I don't have to worry about that. It's lightweight, it fades gracefully, it does transfer with oils, so if you do have oily skin, that will happen, but it's nothing awful or anything. It's just something that is, you know, be aware. I just really like the finish on this. It is really natural looking on the skin. I just think it looks very lovely for the time that it does last on my skin, but out of these 5, I would say that it is my least favorite just because of the longevity and everything, but it does still have its purpose. And like I said, for $5, it's really freaking good. Although you do technically only get 0.85 fluid ounces of product in here, so you're not getting the full ounce, but either way, it's $5. Like, I don't feel like I can complain. Now, next up here, I really love this foundation, but it does have its drawbacks, so I am putting this, you know, not at the very top of my favorite foundations here, but still a very good choice. This is the Covergirl Outlast Active 24-Hour Foundation. I've got the shade 810 Classic Ivory, and I don't know how in my initial weekly wear I did not note this. At least I don't think I did. At least in my notes here, I don't see anything listed, but this oxidizes. It really does. Like, it definitely gets darker throughout the day. I do have to use my white mix-in medium from NYX if I am using this foundation. That aside, it's a really nice foundation. But that aside, it's also fragranced, so if you have super sensitive skin, I don't know that I would recommend this. I do have sensitive skin, but as far as I can tell, this does not cause me to break out, so that pleases me. But it is definitely something to note. This is super lightweight, super lightweight. And it's also mostly transfer proof. It wears very well with my oils, and like I said, there is a very slight transfer with it with my oils, but it is super slight and you can't tell that anything came off your face even though it's showing up on your fingers a little bit. It's just really good. It does last all day for me, and I do believe there are 18 different shades of this available, at least according to CoverGirl's website. You get a fluid ounce of product for around $9 depending on where you buy it, Target, Ulta, that sort of a thing. But overall, it is very affordable and very good. Like, if you're looking for something that's super affordable, I would choose this over the Believe Beauty, but then there's also the things like the fragrance and stuff to consider. But I do think it is very similar to the Believe Beauty in the sense that it's very natural looking on the skin. It just looks really nice, I think, except for the oxidation. But other than that. Next up here is a foundation that I initially feel like I loved a lot more than I do now, but I still really love it. I just have found a couple little tiny flaws with it. I have got the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Moisturizer here. This again is on sale right now from ColourPop. It is typically $14 for 1.45 fluid ounce of product, so you do get a hefty amount in here compared to most 1 ounce foundation bottles. If I counted correctly, there are 24 different shades of this available. I have got the shade Fair 4N. This is on sale for $10.50 right now, so that's great. But overall, this is a wonderful tinted moisturizer. I don't know why they call it that, because to me, this is every bit of foundation, which I appreciate. I mean, granted, you can wear it more sheer, you know, especially if you blend it out with just a sponge, but overall, this gives you the look and feel and everything of a foundation, and it is beautiful on the skin. It's probably the most natural looking out of all of these foundations that I'm recommending to you guys, so if you like that, this might be where you want to look. And again, like all of these, it is very lightweight on the skin. It's got a graceful fade. However, you know, initially I thought this might have oil control in it, and it might, but I've noticed with more testing and continued use of this that the transfer on this with my oils is pretty dang bad. So while it does maybe prevent my oils from coming out for a little bit, once my oils are out to play, they are out to destroy and conquer anything they come in contact with. I don't know why that didn't happen initially when I was testing this out the first week, but I have noticed with further testing that that is what happens with this. And once I do get really oily, the fade isn't as graceful looking. But you know, that can be avoided without touching the face and that sort of a thing, but it is something to note. But like I said, I mean, that isn't really happening until like the 7 or 8 hour mark, I don't think, so you still get a really good amount of wear out of this. And as I said, it just looks so natural and pretty on the skin. It really is a nice one, especially for the price. With the amount that you're getting in this bottle, this might actually be the most cost-effective out of all of these. But now, my friends, we are getting into two foundations that not only were they favorites of the year, but these are kind of favorites of all time now. One of which, we have got the Urban Decay Stay Naked Weightless Liquid Foundation. I have got the shade number 20NN. This one is so good, my friends. One of the most lightweight foundations I think I have ever worn ever. It is such a thin, just like air kind of a consistency on the skin, but yet it still gives such good coverage and just looks really nice. I do think that this looks better as the day goes on. Not that it looks bad initially, but I do think with my oils, the look of it does improve and makes it look even more natural. It starts out more matte. There is super minimal transfer with this. I mean, just the tiniest little bit. The fade is extremely graceful. There are 50 different shades of this with a bunch of different undertones. It is $39. You do get 1 ounce of product in here. So out of all of these, this is the most expensive one, I do believe, but overall, I don't think it's too expensive, and I really love it. Like, this is one of those foundations that I would be sad to not have sitting on my vanity. Like, this is just so good if I want something that looks semi-natural and is extremely lightweight, like paper thin on the skin, barely detectable in that sense. This is the one that I go for. This is the one that I love. This is the one that I just... You're very nice, and I am very happy to have you in my life. And now, top of the top, love of my loves, one that only needed one word on my sticky. Bae. This foundation is bae. And I don't use that term lightly. I don't think I ever call anything bae in real life. Until now. This is the Zoeva Authentic Skin Foundation. I think it's technically called the Authentic Skin Natural Luminous Foundation. Either way, this is gorgeous. I use the shade number 50N Beautiful. It is 1.01 fluid ounce of product, 28 bucks. It is an online exclusive to Ulta, or I'm sure you can get it from Zoeva's website, but overall, my friends, the last time I fell this hard for a foundation, I think, was the Estee Lauder Double Wear Light Hydra one. This is so good, my friends. And for the price, I mean, 28 bucks for this is freaking incredible. So, so good. I love that all of the shade names are like a positive affirmation or whatever. Like, you've got spirited, strong, determined, beautiful, bright, brave, all these good things. The biggest drawback on this is that it does oxidize, and it oxidizes at least a shade deeper than how it begins, which is a bummer. But it can be fixed. I just use white mix in medium, and I think I can get it to match me pretty darn well. This is super blendable, super buildable on my skin. I can wear this sheerer, I can wear this built up. The coverage is insane considering how lightweight this is. I never worry about it transferring really, except for maybe once we hit like the 8 or 9 hour mark with my oils, and then we get some slight transfer. But like, you can't tell on my skin. It's got a graceful fade to it. I don't know how else to describe this foundation other than fantastic, and probably my favorite find of the year out of any makeup. I've just been so in love with this since discovering it, what, like maybe 3-ish weeks ago, a month ago tops. It is so good. I don't want to use other foundations like this one. I would prefer to use. But like, you know, I do like these other ones that I mentioned too, but this one takes the dang cake. I do think that it would be versatile. There were a couple people on my video testing this for weekly wear that said they have dry skin and it didn't work for them, but the majority of people, I got more comments saying that people had very dry skin and this did work for them. So I still stand by that I think this is mostly a versatile foundation. Not that those people that said this didn't work for them, their opinion is still valid. I just think for the majority of people, whether you have dry skin, oily skin, this is one that could work for you because it does start out very dewy, but you know, you can mattify it with a powder and it does end up wearing gorgeously throughout the day. The oils just make it look better, and overall it's just a fantastic foundation. I may be biased because it's one of my favorites, but I don't know why people don't talk about this more. At least I never see people talking about it, and I think that's a darn shame considering the price, considering how fantastically it works. I mean, even if this was a $50 foundation, I wouldn't be surprised because of the way that it works, looks, performs, all that good stuff. But I am happy that it's not 50 bucks. So overall, this was probably a very long video, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, getting these little mini reviews and seeing swatches and all that good stuff. Oh, I will also insert clips of all of these foundations swatched on my arm so you can kind of see the shades next to each other, that sort of a thing. But I hope this video was helpful for you guys, seeing all of that done. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had a wonderful year of 2019. Be sure to let me know if you found any foundations or concealers that you really think I need to test out, be it because you're just curious or just because you love the dang thing and you want me to test the dang thing too here on my channel. I love getting that input from you guys and testing out products that you want to see me test as well in this new year of 2020 here. Thank you all for sticking with me this past year and years before it. I'm so appreciative to have you all here as a part of my channel, and I cannot wait to continue making content for you here in 2020. I hope this roundup was helpful for you. If it was, please do go ahead and give me a thumbs up down below. I'd really appreciate it, and it does help out my channel. Also, if you're new here, hey, hi, hello, how are you? You can go ahead and subscribe. You can tippity tap that notification bell down below. Become a member of my casserole family here on my channel. I'd love to have you here. And as always, I just hope you guys are all doing well. Until next time, just stay well until then. Bye!